already doing, like, a lot of the kids are around women all day. A lot of the little young boys are around women all day because they don't have no father. Their father not in their life. Daddy dead. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, somebody shot daddy, like, and just growing up like that, not having a father figure plays a huge part on children. So what my brother was doing is big for them. He's taking them out, showing them how to do certain stuff they need to know how to do. They need to know how to protect themselves. They need to know how to be able to get some money. They need to know how to be able to, like, finances. All this is stuff he's instilling in them. Or just simply just being able to have fun, go out and hang with some boys.
Yeah, but if your ground ain't set, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen the groundwork, so I've been involved in the muck, you know what I mean? I've seen this man reach out to the youth, to the children, and lead by example. So those are things that I've watched. I've watched him become a big brother. I'm Donnie. They call me Donnie. My name is Prince McLean. I'm a professional international kickboxer and MMA fighter.
Okay, so how long have you been doing MMA?
I've been a pro since I was 17. So I guess, what's that, 15?
Okay.
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's something that's just been a part of your whole life, huh?
Yeah. Fight game in my whole life. That was my way out.
Okay. So tell us about your little brother, man. Tell us about your brother. Tell us about, why we here.
Weave. Yeah. His name's Sinclair McLean, but we call him Weave. That's been his name since he was a little kid, because he was kind of chubby kid. He was kind of fat. So they had these things that was called Weber sausages, and we used to call him Weber. Then we call him Weave. Then we just start calling him Weave. That's been his name his whole life. Yeah. So that's my little man. And, it was funny with him because since day one, he's always, like, we had a rule in our house, and my uncle would always say to us, don't be so destructive. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't just tear stuff up or break stuff up or make noise. Destructive was not cool, but he wanted you to be constructive. And that was one thing that stood out about my little brother since day one, is that anything that he ever broke down, he had a plan to put it back together and almost make it better. So yeah, it was. I always knew he was gonna be all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that something you seen, like, at a young age? Was there something that you seen him doing, like?
Yeah, man. He would take the batteries out of broken toys. He would take the batteries out of broken toys, and then he would take the motors as well. And then he would find a way to wire it so that, like, it would give power to the battery or whatever else. And he would make little submarines, little boats, just stuff that made no sense to us, but his mind was going. He's constantly just thinking of, oh man, this right here, it can do this and it can blah blah blah. And he had the vision, so we would join him and come in his world.
Okay, so he was always like a curious kid, like.
Curious, very, very, very active, very, very active. Since he the type of person, he never been a follower. He wanted to know why you doing what you're doing. He gonna ask you, like, hey, why you do it like that? And then if you show him, then it became his thing. He added his own twist to it, and he developed from there. So it was never a tag along. He was kind of his own person. He's gonna do it his own way. Got me in trouble all the time because he was always running off doing something extra.
Did he have you out there having to take up for him for moms? Like, you used to have to go defending the moms and stuff like that?
Yeah. It's been a couple of times that he done got hurt or just done something just reckless. And we being the bigger always had to. It was our job to watch him. Like, why wasn't you watching him? But it was hard to watch him. You know what I mean? If you try, you doing your own thing, and he running around doing something totally different, always getting into something.
Okay. So, right now with the Rap BM movement, like, what's your take on that? How you feel about that? Like, everything. Like,
I think as a man, we find it hard to find proper leadership, like proper men that we put value in, proper people that we would look to for advice and a lot of things like that. I personally don't trust much of anyone, not even really myself, but I put a lot of value in my brother. I often call him my equal, but my opposite. So
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, anything that I bounce off of him, advice-wise, or if I tell him a life situation or anything I got going on, he would be the first to put a question mark on it and just be like, why you think like that? Like, and just trying to get your feedback. He wants you to dig deeper. He wants to understand why you coming from where you coming from, and then he gonna give you his advice on how he feels about it. And I don't know how it is, like where someone says like 2 minds are better than one, or a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Like all these other fancy sayings that I've heard over the years, but it's been applied in his life. Like I've watched him come from absolute nothing and make it off the plan he had to stick to what he knew. So yeah, I don't quite understand the vision, but I'm excited to see it.
Okay, where do you think he got those discipline qualities, those characteristics? Who do you think, that instilled those into him?
We had, unfortunately and fortunately, in our household, we didn't have fathers that were present, but and God is who I look to, who I speak about. God of my understanding, the God of my love, gave us many fathers. He gave us uncles that were a perfect example, and they were men of faith, and they kind of set laws and principles for stuff for us to develop on. And we had a very strong support system in our women. My grandmother, she was the backbone, the strength of our family. Our mother, she went through a lot of turmoil and things herself, which if you make it through those things, man, that type of pressure built diamonds out of people, you know what I mean? So it made her a refined woman, and yeah, we just had incredible people that's come into our lives.
So have y'all always been like a real close-knit family?
Yes, actually, we all have our own problems, our own up and down, but at the end, we always come together. Like we always got each other's back in one way or another. And if we can do anything for each other, we make sure we do it. Make sure we do it, for sure.
All right, so my name is Leela, and I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm an intervention specialist out here in Cincinnati with the kids that's less fortunate. Also, they have autism, so I work with them. Been working with them for 3 years.
Okay. So let us know how it's like working with kids on the spectrum.
I mean, it's amazing for real because they super smart. Like, they're beyond smart. Like, a lot of people try to do things for them or don't give them a chance to do things when they can do it. They got the full capability to do it. And a lot of times they take advantage of that and try to, get what they want that way, but they smart though.
Okay. So how long you say you've been in that field again?
3 years.
3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what led you to want to be interventionist?
Well, it started off just accident. Like I walked into school for a job, and they just ended up putting me in a position with kids with autism. I went for a regular job, and then it worked out.
Okay. So like, has kids always been in your future, like working with the youth and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I love working with kids for sure. Yeah, I actually coach at the school also, 4th through 6th grade, and then I work. All the kids know my name, so they all run around, call me coach. Anything they need, any favor, anything, we make it happen.
Okay, word. What you coach?
Basketball.
Basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, word. What ages is that?
It's 4th through 6th grade, so it's a wide,
Right.
Yeah, right, yeah. So I get kids, see, they less fortunate, so they never even touched the basketball, never even looked at a basketball, never even had the opportunity. So it's like I'm working with, like, 1st graders, but they really 4th and 6th grade, so, but we make it work, and they love it, so.
So could you speak on some of kind of like the struggles or something that probably may come with your job duties or something like that?
I mean, so first when I first stepped in, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be this coach, or I'm just gonna teach, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do my job, and be in, be out, but it ended up just being a lifestyle. Like, being with these kids is much more than just coming in, doing my job, and leaving. Nah, they need assistance, they need help. Anything they ask for, we gonna make it happen, we make it work. Like, just weekends, like, these kids don't have opportunity to do things, so we try to put things together as far as tournaments or just like book bag giveaways, and we do turkey bashes and stuff like that, just giving the kids opportunities to experience other things.
Okay, that's good. That's what's up. So with them being less fortunate, like, could you tell us some of the things that you may kind of have to deal with on a daily, like a day at work?
So a day at work at me is crazy for real, because first you know, you gotta get the kids off the bus, but working with kids with autism, getting them off the bus, what if they don't come on the bus? They always need a schedule. So some kids, their parents dropping them off, or they walk in, or it's always different. So we gotta take that into accountability of how their day gonna be planned out. Or let's say a day they don't take their medicine. It's gonna be a whole different day. Like, it just really depends on like they schedule and if things went as planned, because they so wrapped around their schedule that if they don't follow their schedule, it leads to problems, basically.
Okay. Right. Okay. So, with you being a black woman and working with impoverished youth and your kids on the spectrum, what would you say your take is on the condition of our black men in today's society?
Well, I feel like I grew up in a household where I had my mom, I had my father, and I'm also the youngest of 5 brothers. So it's different for me because my dad did instill those values in us. He did instill the morals in us. So I know what a man should do. I know what a man looks like. I know those things. So men nowadays, I mean, they're doing the complete opposite. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, they just like, as far as like, my dad taught us, I'm well-rounded. We went outside on Sundays, we did yard work with the boys, we came back in, we did the laundry, we helped my mom with dinner, we washed the dishes. Like, I'm well-rounded. He made sure I did know how to do everything because he know how the society is. He know how these men are. And like, just these little things, I know how to change my oil, I know how to wash my car. Like, anything that need to be done, he made sure that I would be able to do it because he know what it is like that. Like, my dad grew up in the hood. He grew up less fortunate, and he just knew that he had to instill those things in us. Like, my brothers, like, I look up to them. Like, when I think of a man, I think of my dad, my brothers, my father, like, all them in my life, my uncles, like, they real men. So when I see these men nowadays just rapping about anything, jewelry, guns, and hoes, like, that's how they know. Like, so it's like, it's different. Like, I'm not used to that. So they clowns to me. So
would you say your upbringing kind of taught you morals, standards, and kind of like today's black men in society kind of lack standards or morals or something like that?
For sure, but I mean, like, I think we get to a point where it's like, oh, how often can we keep blaming it on, oh, they didn't have a father, or they didn't have a mother, or they was less fortunate. Like, it comes to a point where you can't keep blaming that. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror, like, what do I want for myself? What more do I want? And I just feel like a lot of people lack that. They lack looking in the mirror and just actually like facing themselves, like, this is what I need, this is what I want, like, or I gotta do better for my children. Like, a lot of men just lack that. They just do the bare minimum.
So, as a black woman, how do you feel about the Robbie Young movement, the cause? How do you feel about that?
What my brother is doing is huge. It's huge for the kids. He got a couple of my kids that are on the basketball team in his program.
Sinclair, McLean. I have a youth program that me and my comrades have implemented to the community, and I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay. So, as a kid, could you tell us like what it was like growing up, like in a household?
To be honest, growing up, it wasn't. We wasn't impoverished. It was none of those issues I faced. I was always on punishment. Like, always on beating. Like, I mean, you can ask anybody. Like, I mean, I can remember a time wasn't on punishment, you know. But so, truth is, most of the time I had fun was on a football field or playing some type of sport. But I was always on punishment. I had a lot of siblings. We all like this.
Elaborate a little bit on why you always was on punishment?
To be honest, I just didn't listen. I didn't listen. I wouldn't say rebellious. I was sneaky. Mm-hmm. I thought I was smarter. I thought I was finale. I thought I could outsmart everybody, you know. So, but that's why I think I was on punishment.
Okay. So, what's some instances that led you to kind of like probably being on punishment? What's some things you used to get yourself into?
In school, you know, acting up in class, fighting.
Right.
You know, I always was kind of different, but not in a weird way, but just kind of like I always questioned a lot of stuff, went against the grain. So, you know, naturally,
about conflict. Children, everybody want to be the same. Everybody want to be cool. And me, I was popular, but I wasn't cool. Like people knew me, but I wasn't like, you know, like the cool guy. I was just like everybody know him. You know what I mean? So.
So you was kind of like the popular loner type dude.
Basically. And I always befriend like the person everybody thought was super duper lame, so they ain't add to my coolness, but they're like, man, he'd be cool with anybody, you know what I'm saying? But
you found your own liking in people, no matter what society or the world had to feel to say about it.
Exactly.
Okay. So like, do you think like some of like the people in your life help build that character in you, kind of like, you know, liking people for who they are and not because everybody else like them?
I think, I know, I had my biological father, he wasn't necessarily always there, but I had 3 men, my step-pops, my Uncle Dave, my Uncle Walt. I call them the 3 wise men. They all have areas of expertise. Pop Ken, which is my stepdaddy, he was more like the enforcer, you know. He didn't want like punishment. You know what I'm saying? But it worked, you know what I'm saying? He was always on me. He was disciplinary. He gave me all the type of stuff. My Uncle Dave, spiritual guidance, taught me a lot of skills as far as working on cars. My Uncle Walt was more like, both of them combined, but also his level of optimism is just like unmatched. You never see Walt, like, he could hit the lotto for $1 million, lose a ticket, and he's like, oh well, I just, you know, like he never gets down. And I think I got some of his optimism in me, you know, but the combination of all 3 made me who I am.
So those 3 men helped groom you into the well-rounded man that you feel you are today.
Exactly. And I do want to add that my grandmother, my mother, my aunties, my sisters, they gave me a huge balance. My grandmother, my little sister actually named after Leela, but my grandma, she was unmatched, and I think she balanced all 3 of them men by herself as a woman. You know, she worked a full-time job, made sure dinner was on the table every night. She was just like, it was a remarkable type of woman she was. So, you know, naturally you would look for that type of woman, you know, when you get older.
So, could you let us know some of your struggles, your obstacles that you had to overcome along your journey and path to, you know, where you at right now to where you sit right now?
One of my obstacles was basically being misunderstood. You know, all my intentions was curved into people's own perception. So I could want to be somebody's friend. They think their intentions to me, it'd be the complete opposite. But I think just being completely misunderstood. If I dress different, if I talk different, I play sports. If I was talking, you know, I was talking smack to somebody, they instantly think I'm trying to fight. I want competition. You know what I mean? I'm super competitive, but I don't mind the other person being just as competitive to, you know, make me just as sharp as them. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. So just being
sometimes people take you the wrong way too, or misconcept kind of like your actions or your words or something like that.
Exactly. And I think it took a lot of people getting older and growing into themselves to actually kind of understood the type of person I was. You know, when you a kid, you kind of run with groups, and they, you know, feelings and understandings are kind of contagious. You know, everybody kind of feel and think the same way in certain groups. And me, I just didn't have that chip. I would be friends with anybody or be cool with anybody. Not anybody, you know, people I thought was conducive for my growth. So.
Right. Okay. So, could you let us know with going through some of the struggles and obstacles at your lowest point, what's something that kept you going? Like, what kept you motivated? You know what I'm saying?
To be honest, my Uncle Dave, he been on the dialysis for coming up on about 40 years, and just his level of relentlessness and just you got to put one foot in front of the other, and it's either way it goes. It's like the sun coming tomorrow, you got to go. And you know, you see certain people give up. You see people, you know, let life get to them. And just me couldn't do it. Got to be relentless. So.
Right. So your Uncle Dave, he fighting his battle
my battle ain't nothing spread to his, you know. So
Yeah, you said his whole journey is bad, but you just say if he can make it through that every day, then nothing I can make it through.
exactly.
Word. So with Robbie Young, could you let us know like what's some of your goals, what's your purpose behind Robbie Young?
Well, I want to take Black youth, implement laws of the universe into them that we've gotten so far away from. You know, I want my individuality, but having allegiance to each other and unity. I want it to be scholars on many levels, whether it be arts, war, literature, everything basically. So I want to be scholars. I want them all to be super intelligent and go out to the world and make more of themselves.
Okay. So how important are the youth to our future?
It's everything. It's all we got. You know. When my mother and pops and uncles get sick or whatever, I got to be there for them. I got to be a certain person for them, and I'm their future. I was there. You know what I'm saying? At some point, they looked at me like the future, and I got to look at the youth like, you know, I got to raise more of myself. And, you know.
So now it's like, kind of you feel like it takes a village to raise a kid.
One person, one group of people, it takes a village to raise a child. It's things and experiences that individuals have that they all have to implement into that one child, you know. And I just don't have the experience you may have, you know, vice versa. So.
Tell us what Robbie Young actually stands for.
It stands for Return of the Black Man, but it's not limited to the return of the Black mother, return of the Black mathematician, the return of the Black whatever, you know.
Right.
It's a return of all of it. So, but essentially it's the return of the Black man.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. How did you come up with that? How did you come about that?
Me and one of my comrades, Marquise Brookins, we came up with the name in 2013. Yeah, 2013. Yeah.
Was it something that was planned, an organization that was talked about, like, or did it just come in the midst of a conversation?
It was in the midst of a deep conversation. We just ran with it. So.
Okay. So, where you planning on taking Robbie Young?
Wherever it wants to go, I think I'm going to implement it. I'm going to stay consistent with it. My comrades, Jermaine Watson, Ezekiel Brookins, you know, Patrick Dawson, you know, everybody, any of my comrades, we're gonna implement it and just be consistent with it. That's the most important thing, is being consistent and you know, keeping the intensity, because anything can wither away, you know, with other things. You gotta make kind of not a job but a duty. You know?
Okay. Right. So, what you say it is you hustling for? What you grinding for? What you want to achieve?
I'm hustling for the future of our nation, for our Black nation. You know, I'm what you consider a Black nationalist. I will work with Hebrews, Christians, any religion, you're Black before you're any of these things, and they don't target the fact that you're a Christian. They target the fact that you're Black. They don't, you know what I mean? So I'm a Black nationalist. So I believe in a Black nation, wherever it stands, wherever it is. I'm Sinclair McLean from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm a Black nationalist, a Pan-Africanist, and a scientist. That's what I'm hustling for.